Okay, hey guys, I am going to be doing a tutorial today. I know this is different for my channel, but this has been something that I've wanted to do for quite a while. I am going to be showing you how I color and do the line art for my traditional artworks. I will be listing the supplies that I use as well throughout the process, and hopefully you find this video helpful because that's the whole point I'm making it. Wait, why do I... do I not? Oh yeah, okay. I was about to be like, where the fuck are my crayons? No, they're right here. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I think we're ready to get started. So today I'm going to be coloring Montgomery Gator because I haven't touched this fucking thing in so long, and I like Roxanne more than I like Monty, so if I fuck up, at least I won't be fucking up Roxanne, you know what I'm saying? So sorry, Monty, but you better pray to the Lord Jesus above. So I am going to start by lining with this Pigma Micron .03 pen. And the reason I'm starting with the .03 is because I want to start by lining with a smaller line, because my mindset with drawing in general is you can always add more if you need. But with traditional art, you want to start smaller and then add and build up on that. So I will start by outlining his entire face and whatever. I start on the outside, just following the rough sketch that I've created, and I do my best to keep a stable hand, obviously, which is challenging as you... Oh, I have to add, I am looking at a reference picture, or I should be. I'm just gonna go grab my charger so I can pull up a picture of him. Okay. So since I have a smaller pen, or I'm starting with a smaller pen, I can line pretty much everything, because what I want to do after this is erase all of the pencil. So of course you want to have like as much of the line art there from what you sketched. And so, well, with my styles in particular, I like to make the outer lining a lot thicker than any of the details within the face. Obviously, you can do whatever the fuck you want because every artist is different, all that jazz. But since I have a smaller pen here, I'm switching to the point one. Actually, I might switch to, yeah, I'm gonna switch to the point one for the teeth just because I don't want to make it too thick. I was saying, yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want because it's your art style. Oh god, my cat is coming in here. Zoe. Oh no, give me a second. Okay. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm just lining the teeth here with a smaller pen size. Okay, so there's that. Then with the hair here, I might use the smaller pen just to carve out some of the like more detailed parts of it. That's fine. I did that. Okay, yeah. I think those are like the key features here that I can color in. So now I'm going to take an eraser if I can find one and erase all of the pencil. Give me one moment. Okay, I found one. So gently, I'm going to go in a circular motion, just to get rid of any pencil that's here. And if while you're erasing, if you see like you forgot to line something, because that actually happens to me quite often. Oh shit, see right there. Just make sure to go back in and like do your best to fill that part of it, just so that you don't forget. There we go. And then you can continue erasing. And one thing to remind yourself of is if you make a mistake, it's really not a big deal. Art is supposed to be fun. Art is creative expression based on your perception of things and your opinion and yada yada yada. I could go on. But just do whatever you feel is right, and even if it's not, even if it doesn't turn out how you wanted it to initially, it's fine. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly what you imagined, you know? Like, that's what I really like about traditional art is it forces me to be okay with that, and therefore I take less time overall to finish artworks because I am less of a perfectionist, you could say. I have here, let me see if I can get it to focus in on this. I have the Pigma graphic one. It looks like this at the tip. It's like a marker type idea. If I can compare here, wait, let me open this one. So you can see the tip on this one, the left one is like more of a pen, whereas this one's like a marker-esque vibe. And I like to use this one I like to use the marker-esque one to give a thicker outline to the outside of Monty. So let's just go ahead and give him his thicker outline just because I feel like it makes it pop a little bit more. Now, I was talking about how you should be a little bit more lenient with yourself in terms of being able to make mistakes. It's definitely much easier said than done. It's taken me so long to learn that. And that's kind of why I went back to traditional art because I feel like it's been a lot easier for me to learn that skill of like being more forgiving with yourself and not being as much of a perfectionist. But it definitely takes time to learn, and I would just say like be kind to yourself, while also basically just be patient. Be patient and do your best to be forgiving when it comes to that in general. So, we have the outline done. Now, I am going to start adding color. According to my reference, I will do my best to pick a color that I feel best suits what the reference is showing me. So I actually don't, I had an image that I took that I used in order to draw the sketch for this, but I don't know what it was exactly, which usually I would keep the same reference. So I'm going to do my best to draw what I see here, but if you can, try to use the same reference for sketching as you did for drawing. So I'm going to start with the biggest part of his face, which is mainly the green part, and lightly I will just color that in. I like to go in like circular motions and not really worry too much at first about like how it actually looks. I just want to fill it in with color. The biggest part with the most prominent color. Shit, that was supposed to be yellow. See, this is why I do it lightly. So, we made a mistake. Okay, no big deal. So, the bottom part of his jaw is supposed to be yellow. So, I'm going to pick a yellow color. And since I used green, I'm going to try to pick like a more yellow color than what the reference is showing me. I don't know if this one would be better or... Oh, I forgot to tell you what I was using. Sorry, that's my bad. I will show you right now. So, the pencil crayons that I am using are the Prismacolor Premier. This is apple green for his entire like skin tone. And then here I have, I'm not sure, I'm using both Prismacolor Premier, what does that say? Canary yellow. And I have, I think, let me see here. Cadmium yellow from Faber-Castell. So I'm going to start with the Faber-Castell pencils and see what that gives me. That does not look too good, if I'm being completely honest. I might go in with a more of a brown color because the yellow on his body is a bit it's like a brownish yellow. So right here I have burnt ochre. I don't know if I pronounced that shit right. But I'm going to go in very lightly with that just to get the shade a little bit more brown. And then now that that's all filled in, I'm going to take a white pencil. So I'm using the Faber-Castell white. I don't know if white. I don't know what word, German fucking word that is, but I'm using the white and I'm gonna press pretty hard and in a circular motion kind of blend out all the colors together. And the reason I do this is because it makes all the colors blend, obviously, and then it also just gives a smoother look to the colors instead of having this like grainy looking texture. It just like sort of helps to, I don't know, bring everything together. If you get my meaning. So then once I've blended all the colors, I'll go back in to adjust it slightly. And then in the shadowy parts, so close to the mouth, like right here on the lip, I'll go in with a darker color. Right here I have the, raw umber. And I'm going in along his lip line just to add a darker shade. And then along the side of his jaw, I'm seeing a bit of purple in the reference, so I might add a purple shade. Right here I have Prismacolor Violet Blue. So I'm just going to go in lightly with that. Right, and then I'll go back in with the white and sort of blend that in. So, I'm going to go in and color his tongue with the Venetian red. It's like this pale pinkish color. And I'm just going to lightly color in his tongue, going around the teeth, and not pressing too hard, obviously, as I explained earlier, because I don't want it to be like completely dark just yet. And then I'm going to go back in with this purple shade to shade his tongue along where it should be shaded. So what I'm seeing in the reference is along the middle of his tongue is the darkest point. And then I'll go back in with the white, the same white from Faber-Castell, and just shade that in. And I might go back in with another pink, or let me see here. I'm seeing like almost a brownish orange color. So I might go in with this dark red shade from Faber-Castell just to try to even it out and like get the shade to be correct as I can get it to be. This is actually darker of a red than I was expecting. So I might go back in with like this brown here that I used earlier. So as you can see, with any sort of coloring, traditional coloring, it's a lot of guesswork. You do your best to get it to be as accurate as possible, but at the end of the day, art is supposed to be imperfect, and it's supposed to be your interpretation of what you're seeing. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exactly what you see. And then I'm seeing his glasses are a lighter purple color, so I'm gonna choose the lightest color pencil of purple that I own. And right here I have the Prismacolor Premier Lilac. And I'm just gonna lightly color in his glasses. And the reason I picked the lightest shade is because I want to be able to work towards whatever darker shades I can see within the reference. Is this the color I want? Violet. I'm going to go in with Prismacolor's Violet and sort of shade a little bit darker. And I know glasses have like those lines across. And even though the reference isn't showing me that, I'm going to add it to my own drawing because I want to, because it's my artwork. And then you can go in with the white again if you would like to, just to shade that in a little bit extra. The rims of his glasses are a yellow color, so I'm just going to straight up press hard going in with this yellow. And the reason I'm pressing hard this time is because it's in the reference, it's straight up a yellow. The yellow is the lightest color that I can see along his glasses line. And then after that, I'm seeing almost like a green for the shading. So that's what I'm going to go in with. I'm going to go on the parts. So in my reference, the lighting is coming from this way. That's why there's shadows here, shadows along his lip line. And then it's lighter in this side of his glasses. So I'm just going to press a little bit harder on this part, and I might go back in with a green, or sorry, not a green, a brown as well, just because in the reference it looks like a poopy green. I know that's a great way to describe it. Now his hair is like a hot pink red color. So I'm going to do my best to choose that. I have here pale vermilion. So I'm going to start with that, lightly color that in, and then I'll go in with a red and go along his like hair lines that I added. Since the lighting is coming from this way, I want to add like the more dark colors on this side, because if you can imagine the light hitting from here, the shadows are going to be on that side. And then with that, let me see if I have another like hot pinkish color. A lighter pink I might go in with instead of white. So I have, just straight up pink, Prismacolor pink. If you can see that there. And I'm going to use that instead of the white to blend this because I don't want it to get too light. I might come in with a white afterwards, but from what I can see in the reference, this is going to be the closest to what I am getting in the actual color of the reference. So instead of using white, I'm going to use that. And then to blend out the skin, honestly, I'm going to grab a darker, actually, I might grab like this green here, which is earth green yellowish. And go in with that and press a little bit harder just to cover it, because this is sort of like closer to what I'm seeing in the reference as like his skin tone. And then I might come back in with a white and just go in circles to see how that looks. Now for the shadows, I actually am seeing like a little bit of like a purplish shade along here. I'm seeing a little bit of purple on his like eyes. So honestly, since you can't really see his eyes, I'm just going to fill in the entire thing with purple for that part. And then I see like a lighter purple on the sides of his cheeks. I'm assuming this is like a reflective light. And then I think I will come back in with a darker green because I just want to add like a proper shadow. So here I have olive green, Prismacolor olive green. And I'm just going to go in to the parts of his face that I feel would have like a shadow from where my light source is theoretically. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's whatever. Like this is my drawing, so I can make it whatever the fuck I want. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I think some light will be here, some light will be here. And this part, being able to predict where the light source will affect your shadows and whatnot, it takes practice. So don't be too hard on yourself. It just takes repetitive drawing and coloring in order to predict more easily where the shadows will be and where the lighting is and all that jazz-a-rooney. I think, what do I want to go with? So, okay, now that it's like, it has color, right? It looks a little bit flat even still. I might actually go in here and just like roughly do that, because it might give it a little bit more depth, if that makes sense. So don't be afraid to like add really dark shades, because even if it's not in the right spot, it adds so much contrast that it just makes your artwork look a lot better. And that's something that the reason I mention that is that that's something that I have had to learn over time. It's taken me quite a while, but that's one thing my art teacher in high school always told me is like, don't be afraid to just add random shadows. Like it's just gonna make your artwork look better in general. So there's that. So now that it's colored in, I mean, we can go back in with a little bit of this white here just to blend the shadows a bit better. But I have a gel pen. If you don't have a gel pen, then like, don't worry. If you would like to add this sort of detail, then while you're drawing, you'd have to think about, okay, which parts of my drawing do I have to leave white in order to create that type of contrast? And I kind of just go in randomly with this, my gel pen here. Wait, I'll tell you which kind it is. We have a Jelly Roll 10 from Japan, Sakura. I got this from Michael's. I live in Canada. I don't know if America has a Michael's franchise, but I'm just going to go along the edges of his face where I think the light would hit most prominently. But anyway, okay, so like I feel like that's good for that. And then finally, I like to go back in to retrace some of the line art, because when you're coloring, the pencil kind of has a tendency to go over the like dark lines that you drew, and just like adding them back in really makes your artwork pop a lot more. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this video actually helped you. If you have any requests for other tutorials you'd want to see, please let me know in the comments. This is my first tutorial that I've made, proper tutorial, so I hope that it was helpful. I hope that it was well explained, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.